Welcome to a brand new episode of Rehashing, where each week we break down the top entertainment news stories and everything you may have missed in Bachelor Nation this week. Hey guys.
Hola.
Happy
Hello.
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Hello.
New week, new location. As you guys can tell, I'm at my parents' house. I'm in Montreal for the week. And this is the most plain background I was able to find in the quietest area of the house.
Kind of stylish. It's like retro looking, honestly.
We're adding a little dimension, a little spice to the show for the YouTube viewers.
We forgive you for the non-white background.
I know my OCD is a little bit kicking in because I wish it was all clean and uniform, but it's fine. For one or two episodes, it's fine. So what's doing, guys? How's everyone's week going?
Awesome. I'm on March break. So that's
Lucky.
amazing. Perks of being a teacher. And I'm just enjoying my life in minus 20 degrees.
Oh my God, it was so cold out today. It looked so nice. And I opened the window and I was like, yeah, no, this is going to be a no.
It's crazy coming back here. The amount of snow in Montreal compared to Toronto is out of control. There's
Really?
snow. There's 3 feet of snow on my back deck. There's easily 10 feet of snow on my front lawn. There's no snow outside of my condo in Toronto. A little bit of a dusting maybe, but there's it's not snow. This is crazy. I haven't had to wear winter boots in Toronto once yet this winter.
Really? I feel like we've recently had a couple of snowstorms.
It snowed every day of February.
Yeah, the whole winter felt like oh yeah, it's a mild winter. But then for whatever reason, in the last couple of weeks, it has snowed so much. Even this weekend, we got so much snow.
We're 10 days before the reunion of the shutdown. Kind of exciting.
Oh my God.
The shutdown happened March 13th.
That was the day that the world went in, became a pandemic.
NBA, NHL,
Broadway.
And then the schools,
everything.
I was actually thriving at the beginning of the pandemic. It was lovely.
I think everyone, in a way, everyone was really stressed, but it was a different kind of stress. You know, it was we're kind of weirdly on a vacation because we're all home, but also we can't even go out. I was scrubbing my groceries with soap and water.
Well, that's just it. Almost a year ago today, we were all afraid to leave our houses. Now it's I need to leave my house or my head is going to combust. I don't
I'm still afraid. I'm still the biggest.
Still afraid, of course. I'm still.
But it's a different kind of stress. That's I get stressed over the fact that I have nowhere to go versus a year ago, I was so stressed about going somewhere that I wasn't going out.
Well, in a way, things are not normal, but in a way, they feel maybe they're getting towards that,
light at the end of the tunnel.
So last week we started our new segment, Weekly Well Wishes and Muzzles, and we got such a great response that we're going to keep it going. And the first muzzle tub of the day is to Alec and Hilaria Baldwin because they welcomed baby number 6 just 5 months after baby number 5 via surrogacy. And you know what? We are big fans of Hilaria Baldwin in this circle. We're fans of her story.
We're intrigued.
For those of you who don't know, a few months ago, there was a whole scandal circling Alec Baldwin's wife and her ethnicity and where she came from. And she's lying about it. And it was honestly hilarious.
That's good.
Funny. Oh they're so funny.
So it's just to see her in the news again is just.
People are saying actually that because this child was born out of surrogacy, it's kind of weird timing with how the whole thing went down about her ethnicity and where she comes from. And people are just really confused about when the surrogate was decided on, how it all came about now. People are also confused because apparently in New York, which this is kind of shocking to me, but apparently in New York, the use of a surrogate was only made legal 2 weeks ago, which I find crazy. But people are saying the timing of it all is very strange. How could the surrogate have given birth now after carrying a baby for 9 months in New York when it only just became legal? There's something
logistically
strange.
That's off. I wonder, this is because I saw that same thing. I wonder if maybe their plan was if the legislation to legalize or allow or whatever the correct law jargon is for surrogacies in New York State, I wonder if maybe instead of having the baby in New York, like if the woman would have delivered in a different state, like maybe that's how they would have like gotten a loophole around it. I don't know. But it's so interesting to me that this is only made legal now. And when my mom told me, because my mom is the one that told me that Hilaria Baldwin had the baby, I was like, kid 6 months old, where have you been? And she's like, no, Leanna, like another kid. I was like, you're literally like, you're delusional. Like this is like, you're late. Like this was 6 months ago. She's like, no, like go look at her Instagram. And then I go look and she's like 7 with a heart on her Instagram. And I was like, oh, there's another kid. Like that's actually crazy. It's just like amazing timing for her and for her name, you know, like she needed this boost of PR, and like no better PR than having a baby.
Good for her. Mazel tov to her. And
Big muzzles.
Next, congratulations to Gal Gadot and her husband, because they just announced that they are expecting another child. I believe it's baby number 3 based on the Instagram picture that I saw.
Yep. Alana, like obviously they get a muzzle, not a congrats.
Well, I used the muzzle on Alec and Hilaria accidentally, so
It's okay. There could be more than one muzzle, you know?
I know,
Yeah.
I guess. Muzzle top to everyone.
I love Gal Gadot. I think she's so gorgeous.
Obsessed.
And I want to say when she came out at the Golden Globes, she looked amazing.
She looked absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed with her. She just makes me so proud.
Yeah,
And I think it goes without saying why she makes me so proud. And I just love to see her on the screen, love to see her at the Globes, love to see her repping, love to see her in the action movies that I do not watch. And yeah.
I have a really hilarious Gal Gadot story for everyone. A few years ago, my cousin messaged me on Facebook and was like, I'm doing this family tree online and you'd be happy to know that you're cousins with Gal Gadot. And I was like,
What?
wait, what? This is a connection. This is the message I got. I thought you might like to know that you're related to Wonder Woman. LOL. Gal Gadot is your dad's first cousin, once removed, wife's nephews, ex-wife's, aunt's husband's first cousins, husband's brother's wife's first cousin, thrice removed. The connection is through your bubby.
I got none of that.
I was
You
like,
lost
oh my
me.
God. I was like, the resemblance is uncanny. Like, of course, it's making sense. But how
That's
crazy is
very
that?
funny. That's
It's
hilarious.
just like the epitome of Jewish geography. Like, of course,
Yeah.
I'm related to Gal Gadot. Like,
Of course.
And another baby announcement, Catherine McPhee and David Foster welcomed their first child together and his 70th, a baby boy.
wait, is this his first son?
I think it is.
I think it's his first son. I
Oh.
think he only has girls.
I think he has like at least 6 kids already.
Well, like Anwar Hadid was his stepson.
Stepson, yes. But like,
this whole relationship, like, have we talked about this on the podcast before?
I don't think
No.
so.
I don't think so, but you guys know how I feel about this whole thing because like I loved Catherine McPhee back on the American Idol days, and she was in Smash. She literally met David Foster when she was like how old on American Idol, and he was playing piano in the background. He was like a mentor to the contestants. That's how they met.
Playing piano in the background, like as such a like C-list character. Like,
No, he was like a mentor to the contestants or something. And
David
No, I
Foster, I'm
know.
dying.
I have a lot of words about David Foster because I do watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and he was a character for a few seasons because he was married to Yolanda Hadid. And I find their whole divorce was like really scandaloso. So
I adore Erin Foster. I think she's like the funniest person on the internet. And it's just like, I find it so funny that he has like grandchildren older than his newborn son.
That kid is gonna be so musically talented though. Like
Oh my
if
God.
if music, the gene of music gets passed down, this kid is gonna have the voice of an angel and the music brain of Mozart.
who is Catherine McPhee?
Gonna be the next Beethoven.
she became famous when she was on American Idol.
Oh, she was a contestant.
What did she say? She's gonna be the
Because
next.
he's gonna be the next Beethoven.
Next up, not a baby story. John Mulaney is out of rehab and doing well in outpatient care. So I think it was a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, maybe December. I'm not sure anymore.
It was right
He,
before Christmas.
It was right before Christmas, eh?
Mhm.
He a story came out that he had gone into rehab for, I believe it was drugs related,
Drug and alcohol use.
and he's out now and he's doing well. So well wishes his way, and he's a very funny
Yes.
man. And I wish him all the, well, we all wish him all the best. Seth Rogen announced that he has launched his own weed business. So a huge congratulations to him. I mean, who better than Seth Rogen to do this? And you know what? I've heard from non-smokers that they're interested in smoking because of how enticing it looks.
This is the most on-brand side hustle anyone could do. Like, there's nothing more fitting for him than this. And he's been working on it for like 10 years, which is just so classic and amazing. I'm obsessed with him.
So speaking of Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill was in the news this week. And the Daily Mail posted a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Pointless, stupid, unnecessary article about Jonah Hill. And he was shirtless, he was surfing, just minding his own business. And the Daily Mail, you know, doing their thing because they have nothing better to do, posted about him like changing on the beach out of his wetsuit. And he took a screenshot of it and posted it on Instagram and wrote a whole caption about how like it's taken him years to be comfortable with himself and love his body and whatnot. And like, it was really nice to see.
I love Jonah Hill. I'm the friggin' resident Jonah Hill stan of this group. I love that man more than anything. And the fact that he posted that just made me so happy. I'm so happy for him. He's not engaged anymore, so maybe I have a chance.
Who is he engaged to? Did I miss that?
Santos. The model art like curator from New York. So cool. Her name is literally my name with one letter off. And then the best part is everyone else that was reposting it, like Demi was reposting it and like with a clapping hand emoji, and just so many people were sharing it and being like, because we don't see enough men body positivity. So it was just very needed. And if he's going to be that spokesperson, then like I'm all aboarding that ship.
All aboard here too.
Yeah.
Next relationship news, Chriselle Staus and her Dancing with the Stars boyfriend, whose name I don't remember, are done. And by whose name I don't remember, I mean the guy that isn't Gleb, her partner from when she was on Dancing with the Stars. Because that was a whole messy rumor where him and his wife got divorced and she was being accused of being a homewrecker. And then apparently all the blinds are saying it's true. It's all been a cover up this whole time. But you know what? We'll find out soon.
Her boyfriend's name, well, her now ex-boyfriend's name is Keo. People were saying that Keo and Chriselle's relationship was a cover-up for the fact that Chriselle was actually with Gleb, and that was the whole reason that Gleb kind of was getting divorced from his wife. But I don't know if I believe that. I do believe, though, that Keo did something really bad to Chriselle because she went off on her Instagram.
What a surprise, because she didn't do that to freaking Justin, whatever his name is either. Like, enough of her.
Yeah, but she, like, I don't know what happened, of course, but she was saying that everything that the tabloids were saying about her was a lie and that Keo actually completely betrayed her and lied to her. And
anyways,
interessant.
And lastly, congratulations to all the people who won Golden Globes this past weekend. I did not watch, well, I did, but I was on my phone the whole time, so then I turned it off and watched something else.
It was pretty uneventful.
It had the least amount of viewers in history.
Yeah,
I think it was a combination of like the fact that nobody saw movies this year because of COVID. Like there were no movies in theaters. Everything was like on Netflix or on video on demand. So like, I just feel like the turnout and the hype this year was so minimal.
Agreed.
And it was a big
The only good thing about the Globes was that Sacha Baron Cohen won 2 awards for Borat, for the new Borat, and him and his wife Isla Fisher in like on the Zoom call accepting the award was everything, because she is just his number one fan. Like you could really tell. She was like hyping him up. She was dying of laughter at everything he was saying. And you can tell that everything he said was completely unrehearsed. And she's just sitting there like, oh my God, this is my husband. And she's dying of laughter.
I think like my favorite part of the whole show was also seeing all the celebs at home with their family. Like Kate Hudson's whole family was there.
Yeah.
Like all the children. Like I love
seeing Mark Ruffalo. I love Mark Ruffalo.
Yes, like the kids were just like so excited for him to win, and like they're like the best foreign film. Like he was holding his daughter. It was just like I loved seeing like them at home. It was so cute.
Okay, but the best part, and speaking of being at home, easily the best part was Jason Sudeikis, who was clearly high out of his mind. Like his eyes literally could not be any more red, any more glazed over. In his tie-dye sweatshirt, like this has to be the first time ever in history someone accepted a Golden Globe in a sweatshirt.
But I have to interrupt you because I saw something that said that Jason Sudeikis was actually wearing a sweatshirt that was made by his sister's company, and he was representing his sister's company and trying to like give it some promo or something. But the internet went wild about the fact that he was like sitting there like this in the Zoom call.
No, but
and wearing a sweatshirt.
But speaking of the internet going wild, everyone was like, this man looks like a man that has just lost his wife to Harry Styles.
Yeah. Well, the Golden Globes, I actually saw, speaking of the Golden Globes, I saw a preview or a promo on TV the other day for the Grammys, which are coming up at the end of March.
Oh.
So I'm sure I'm not hyping myself up because the Grammys like are to me one of the best nights of the year. And I just know it's going to be a letdown. So I'm not hyping
I think they're booking really good acts to perform. I heard that Harry Styles is going to perform.
Yeah,
I think they're tapping big people because they know that the turnout won't be good. And this is an award, but like an award show where you can have performances.
Right. That's true.
So I think they're probably going to go all out.
On to our next story. There was some TikTok news this week that also kind of goes with pop culture news. John Mayer joined the TikTok community and he was not well received. He posted just like a random TikTok of him trying to like figure out how to make a TikTok, which I'm going to be honest is really hard. So I completely agree with his TikTok. And the comment section was off the walls. The Swifties, they showed up and they were ready with lyrics. Dear John, don't you know 19 is too young? They were like, TikTok really put you on the Swifties like For You page. Like it was just like insane.
But the key part of the TikTok that he posted was supposed to be like one of those POV videos where it's like you're the audience watching and I'm the actor. So the video was like point of view, like your point of view is you yelling at me about something and me just taking it, like me being berated. So his video was him going like, okay. And then
that was
commenting
after the first one.
But that was the TikTok that all the Swifties were commenting on. All the Swifties were commenting on that one, commenting all of the things, berating him about him, like to Taylor Swift. Yeah.
No, he posted his first TikTok of him like just randomly figuring it out. And then that comment section blew up. So that's why he made a retaliation of point of view, you're berating me and I'm hearing you. Yeah, he was getting berated. So he created
a video of him being berated.
Exactly.
Got it. That's epic.
And the video you sent me was the second one.
Yes.
Okay. So I didn't see the first one. I'm confused.
No.
I'm like really listening as if I'm like listening to this for the first time because I didn't see the right video clearly.
So the first video is him like being introduced to TikTok, kind of like figuring it out, kind of funny. And the whole comment section is like this Taylor Swift fans coming at him being like, oh no, this is not the place for you. And then he made the retaliation point of view, you're berating me and I'm hearing you.
And that's when all of the Swifties started commenting on there, all of these comments about how he dated Taylor Swift years ago when she was 19. And they were like using the lyrics from her songs against him. Oh my God, the internet is such a cesspool, honestly.
Like, I literally could not follow this whole thing. Like,
You couldn't follow?
TikTok just doesn't, like, you're talking about people that I enjoy talking about, but like I hear TikTok, and I just, what?
No problem, Alana. We have way better stories to get to. And very importantly, we wanted to talk about Lady Gaga and what happened with her dog walker, because this was traumatizing for all of us, because 3 out of 4 of us have dogs. And this is just really, really scary. So Lady Gaga has a dog walker, and her dog walker was out walking her 3 dogs. And somebody basically drove by and shot the dog walker and stole 2 of Lady Gaga's 3 dogs. The third dog, I think it was Asia, which I'm pretty sure is her first dog that she ever got. I remember this from years ago. Ran away, basically escaped, and was caught, I think, by the police later on that day, or somebody found her and brought her back to Lady Gaga. But unfortunately, the dog walker was severely injured and 2 of the dogs were stolen. And now, I think it was yesterday, the dog walker came out with a statement that, you know, he's recovering and he appreciates Lady Gaga so much. And the 2 dogs that were stolen were also found and returned back to Lady Gaga safely. So this is such a traumatizing story. People are saying, yeah, you know, people are stealing dogs because everyone in COVID wants to get a puppy or wants to get a dog. And so they're selling them. And it's just really disgusting. And
It's
thank
horrible.
God they're all doing okay.
Speaking of pretty horrible stories, so in June of this year, like the middle of the pandemic, Crystalia, who is a very well-known famous comedian, was basically accused of sexual misconduct on multiple accounts by multiple girls. I'm saying girls because many of them were underage. And this resulted in him getting dropped by his management, by his agents. He was basically dropped from everything. He was supposed to have a Netflix special come out, got pulled, lost all of his endorsement deals, and he's been totally under the radar silent since. And then in the middle of February, he resurfaces, he posts this, like, I think it was maybe 10-minute long, I want to call it an apology video. I'd say it's more of like an explanation video, basically saying that he's a sex addict in not so many words, and that he's really working on himself, and that he was in a position of power and used this to his ability to manipulate all these women. But then today it has come out that one of these girls, who is 17 years old, is suing him for essentially rape, right? That's what the TMZ article said.
No, it's not rape. She's suing him for part of it's child pornography and part of it's something else, because she was 17 years old and it was in the state of Connecticut, and in the state of Connecticut at the age of consent is 16. So like she technically wasn't like a minor, but
crazy. There's so many, I've heard so many stories of similar situations with him, like both from people that I know and from just like reading on Twitter and on Reddit and stuff. And I just now find him so slimy, and it's sad because he was literally one of my favorite comedians.
It's crazy because I was just going to say, Liana and I worked at Just for Laughs together. We spent the summer working at the festival in Montreal, and one of the comedians that we saw, more than once, I think we saw him twice, was Crystalia. And like, it's just such a shame because I came out of that summer and I was not a fan of, like, a huge comedian fan, but I came out of that summer being like, Crystalia was unreal this summer. And now it's just such a shame looking back on it, being like, ugh, like my views of him are kind of tainted now. So it's just a shame. Well, I wanted to mention one more thing about Crystalia that's very strange. Did you guys watch the show You?
Yes.
So, hey, I feel like this is something really important to bring up, because in that show, he literally plays a character that pries on younger girls.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about the character he played on You.
It's very, very weird. It's all too real. Like, now that everything has come out about him, it's too real that he played that kind of a character.
Well, this is like my favorite part of the episode, what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're listening to. I'm going to start us off. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. You never started us off, so I would love that.
Oh, well, I had a big reading weekend and a big show weekend. So I'm just like really excited to share. I read 3 books over the weekend. I wrote them down because I always forget. So my first book that I read over the weekend was Boyfriend Material. I really, really enjoyed it. It kind of has the same vibes as Red, White, and Royal Blue. If you've read that book, it was one of the Toast books of the month. I really liked it. I was really hooked. I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was We Were Liars. I didn't really like it. And then the last book that I read was horrible, and Alana recommended it and has been forcing it down my throat for 2 years.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
My Friend Anna is not a good book. Do not read it. It could be summed up in one paragraph. Oh my God. It was like
what I said last week, you can watch the YouTube video like of her interviews and you get the whole gist of the story. It's not necessary to read the whole book. It's just a crazy story.
It's a crazy story, but like it's not worth a 288-page book.
We just have different interests when it comes to books.
That's true.
Like, I enjoy that kind of a story versus the kinds of stories that you enjoy.
Of course. My next books that I'm going to read, I'm in the middle of 2 books, so I would really like to finish those during my March break. Before We Were Mermaids, and I want to finally finish Where the Crawdads Sing. I'm like in the middle of both of them. I don't know why I put them down, so I'm going to finish those this week. I'm really excited. And then I watched Ginny and Georgia, which I am obsessed with. It was amazing. It is Gilmore Girls meets Desperate Housewives meets Little Fires Everywhere meets The Perfect Man with Hilary Duff.
Little Fires Everywhere. That's some intensity.
Yeah, what? I need to
It was amazing.
I've heard it's good.
Alana, would you like to go next?
Of
course. Well, I'm not reading anything new because I'm still working on finishing the book club book. I did watch the Billie Eilish documentary over the weekend, and did any of you watch it?
Not yet.
I'm excited.
My God, it was so good. It was, I always really liked her, and now I just like her even more. It's so easy to forget that like she's like 18, 19 years old, and this was like filmed before she even had green hair. Like, it's just her and her brother are two of like the most talented people, I think, in that industry, especially her brother, like as a producer. He's like beyond talented.
Is it on Netflix or where is it?
Apple
TV.
Okay.
You all should watch it.
Yeah,
I will. Wait, I need to.
And then I just listened to Billie Eilish, her album, because I was in the mood.
Samantha, what about you? What have you been up to in your reading, listening, watching world?
Well, I'm still working on the comeback. I'm not going to lie. I don't even know if I'm at 20% yet, which is why I asked Adina for an extension on the book club. So thank you for being so accommodating to me. So I've been reading the comeback, and to be honest, I haven't watched anything different this week. I've been binging New Girl, and I still love it. I actually rewatched the Britney Spears documentary on Crave, and we're not going to get into it again, but it's just crazy what's going on with her. So I watched that in full finally. And in terms of what I'm listening to, I'm loving Nick Jonas's new song, Spaceman.
Same.
And I just love everything that Nick Jonas does. I think he is so talented. I just love him, and you all know how I feel about the Jonas Brothers as a whole. But he was great on Saturday Night Live. Kevin was also in the audience.
So
and
funny.
Did this really cute like thing with him being like, so Nick, are you sure? Just because you're doing solo things, we're not breaking up the band. And Nick's like, yes, Kevin, don't worry. And it's just so clear that Nick runs the show. But anyway,
yeah,
he
100%.
he was great.
Liana, would you like to finish us off?
Would love to. I honestly wish that I had more to share with the class. I feel like between working on this podcast and managing my book Instagram account and working my job and coming back to Montreal, I've had like no time this week to do anything other than read, because it's a priority for my book Instagram account.
Yes.
So I started a new series called the More Than series by Jay McLean. I cannot recommend it enough. It's totally cringy. It's very smutty. It's like romance crap junk food, but in the best way. So if that's your bag, go read these books.
I'm so excited.
You will love it, Adina. Like, it's so in your wheelhouse. You will love.
Excited.
And then in terms of things that I've been watching and listening, I have not been watching or really listening to anything other than like Taylor Swift on repeat while I work. And in terms of watching, like Sex and the City here and there, but like not even really this week. I'm dying to watch the Billy doc. I'll get to it eventually, maybe. I don't know.
I want to say one thing. I think for one of the next book clubs, we need a real romance, because every time you guys talk about romance novels, I'm just like, when I used to like force myself to read, because I was never a reader, like the only books I ever read was Nicholas Sparks, like as a kid. So I just would like to make that known that I think I
agree.
I won't ask for an extension if you give me a romance.
We need, Adina, we need to get like an elevated romance, not like
I agree.
junk food one, like one of those like
good one.
One.
Yeah,
like
I may sit
romance with a twist.
Yes.
Like OG Colleen Hoover vibes.
Yeah, like before we were strangers.
Yes.
I loved that book.
I love all her books are amazing. We'll find one.
Yeah,
we'll find one.
Yeah, we'll do some research.
Speaking of you only ever reading Nicholas Sparks books, fun fact for the class, I once told Nicholas Sparks that I only read his books and he was not impressed.
Wait, what?
He was concerned. Like, use the right word. He was concerned.
When did you speak to Nicholas Sparks?
Grade 11, grade 10.
I mean, Alana went to a book fair. And Nicholas Sparks signed my version of the last song.
He signed my DVD of A Walk to Remember.
Alana's DVD. That is the difference. He signed my book and her DVD. And then when Alana said, I only read your books, he was like worried that this girl has no education. Like, too funny.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I love Nicholas Sparks. He's like the OG, honestly. All right. It is that time of the week again. It is Bachelor hangover Tuesday, lots to say, lots to unpack. So the first news in Bachelor Nation this week, there's been a lot of speculation about who is going to be replacing Chris Harrison as the host for After the Final Rose special, and then also for potentially the next season of The Bachelorette. But for right now, it was announced that Emanuel Akko will be hosting this season's After the Final Rose special. And he's been giving off really good vibes on Instagram. He's a motivational speaker. He's a best-selling author of a book called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. I'm pretty sure it started off as a YouTube series or a podcast, and then it actually became a book. They turned it into a book, and it sold 18,000 copies in the first day. So I think he's just an overall motivational kind of person. I think he's the perfect person that they need, given everything that's been going on and the types of conversations that are going to happen on that segment. So I think it's a good start for Bachelor right now.
That's a perfect way to say it. Like, it's a really good start. And if they're going to have to pick somebody outside of Bachelor Nation to do this, to have this role and kind of start holding some people accountable, I think it needs to be somebody of this nature and who has all these accolades and is well versed in these topics and knows how to have a conversation about this kind of topic. So I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be a very interesting episode. It's obviously not going to be a focus on Matt James's love story since rapping. It's going to be all about this, but that's the point.
I think they'll tie it in somehow, especially.
It's going to be a footnote in it. It's not going to be the focus.
It's not going to be the focus for sure.
So another thing, there was like stories throughout like last week and the week before, like about before it was announced that he was the one who was doing it. People were saying it might be like Michael Strahan, Robin Roberts, other people from the ABC family. And I do have this feeling like in my gut that because they chose Emanuel, like Chris Harrison isn't gone for good.
Oh, because
like he's like he has a background of having these kinds of conversations with people, and he does a very good job at it. Like I think if they would have like brought in Michael Strahan, where that's not what he does, like, you know, like he could have been transitioned into the role of host of The Bachelor. Like Emanuel, I don't think is going to be transitioned into the hosting position.
Maybe they were offered it and they didn't want it. Like
it's possible.
Not everyone wants to be a host of a
dating
reality.
But I don't think so. I think Emanuel Akko, like he's
serving a purpose.
He's serving a purpose. Like he's not just like some motivational speaker. Like he's a motivational speaker who touches on these topics every day. So like
I think it's good. And I'm happy that they chose somebody, because there were a lot of rumors saying that Rachel Lindsay maybe was going to do it. But that actually brings me to the next thing that we wanted to mention. There is literally no way Rachel Lindsay would do it. We just found out that she deactivated her Instagram account because she was a victim of severe bullying and harassment. And, you know, a bunch of Bachelor Nation stars have been posting on their stories, like, I stand with Rachel Lindsay, and even her husband, Brian, posted a whole thing. It's just gotten really out of control, I think. And I assume that Rachel probably just got to a point where she was like, I can't look at this account anymore.
It's just, she's totally a victim of this story when it's has nothing to do with her. It's so much bigger than her. And she was very graciously put in that role of like being the spokesperson of this. And she didn't ask for that. And like,
the issue is
it's not a personal issue. It's nothing that she did. Like, it's just, she's in this position now where now she's the face of this Bachelor movement. And people are friggin' crazy on the internet. Again, it's a cesspool of fucking crazies on there.
I hope that Rachel is able to come back soon and to Instagram, because she really does inspire a lot of people. So we should have put her in the well wishes. We really wish her well. We're thinking
of her.
Yeah, we're thinking of her. Something that is on this note, but I guess relating to somebody else, is everything that's going on with Taylor Nolan. So Taylor Nolan is a previous contestant from The Bachelor. She was on Nick's season. She has been a huge advocate on Instagram. She's been, you know, really leading the charge to fire Chris Harrison and cancel Chris Harrison. And she has used those words in particular. She's not wrong. However, recently, the other day, a bunch of old tweets of hers have resurfaced. I can't even go into what the tweets said because they were just so disturbing and so disgraceful to many different groups of people. It came out, and instead of making an apology like she begged so many others to do when they did something wrong, she basically was just trying to defend herself and saying that she has put in the work and that she's doing better, and
that she purposely has left these tweets up, intentionally left them there because she wants to show her growth. And she knew they were there. She could have deleted them, but she made the conscious decision to leave them there to show that her 8 years of public service work has let her grow and shown her, I can't with this girl. She's a fucking sack of shit liar.
Her video was, her words were so condescending and so aggressive. And she kept saying, I hope you'll show me grace. Like, no, we will not show you grace because you wanted everyone, you don't want to give grace to anyone else who makes a mistake, but you can make a mistake and just be forgiven for it.
I think it's so disgusting. Her tweets from the past year have been, I don't care if you did it 5 years ago. I don't care if you did it 10 years ago, like leading cancel culture, not even like accountability culture, whatever you want to call it. She has been wanting to cancel everyone, not even like giving anyone the space. Like she's like, even if you apologize, like, no, you still did it, like goodbye. And her apology was, number one, she didn't even acknowledge the communities that her first apology, the communities that she wronged. And she just like, her tone was so condescending. It was so disgusting.
You have to remember too, right? Like her MO has always been that she is very condescending. She was condescending when she was on the show. She's been condescending. She was condescending in Paradise. She is condescending like on her platform. For her to not take accountability for her tweets was just it. For someone who does focus on all of this so much, it's just like, how do you defend yourself? And like, if you knew that those tweets were there and you purposely left them up, like, why didn't you bring them up? Why didn't you address them? Why didn't you talk about them? Like,
also, you have to practice what you preach. And she, like, I think that's literally the only way to put it. Like, don't preach that you believe in something and you believe in cancel culture and all this stuff, and then ask to be forgiven when you've done all the same things, if not worse. Truthfully, it's too much at this point. It's and not for cancel culture, but she needs a real reality check, I think.
Amanda Stanton said it best. It's the hypocrisy for me.
So on a kind of crazy note, there's been some info that's come out that Hannah Brown's brother, Patrick Brown, is dating Jed's ex. Now, for those of you who didn't watch Hannah's season of The Bachelor, Hannah chooses Jed, who ends up coming out that he only went on the show to make himself famous because he wants to be a singer. And he had a girlfriend when he came on the show. And he basically told the girlfriend, don't worry, I'm coming back for you. I'm only going on the show to get famous. And now Hannah's brother is dating that girlfriend who came out in like People Magazine and Us Weekly, like with all these comments about how Jed is like conniving and backstabbing and all that. It's just too weird. Like, how does Hannah feel about this?
I'd love to know.
I'd love to know.
It's just so bizarre. It's clearly something going on there. I don't know if it's like a lashing out, trying to get recognition or what it is, like a popularity thing, a fame thing, but it's like incestual almost that Jed's ex-girlfriend is now dating Hannah B's brother. Like, what? Like, how do they even get to each other? Like, this is the connection.
So this week we got some news that the next season of The Bachelorette is heading to New Mexico. That's where they will be filming in quarantine. And Adina said it best. The pictures of the resort gives us some real High School Musical 2 vibes.
Because it's in Albuquerque.
It's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that's where
Wildcats were number one.
Well, it's a resort that looks like the resort from High School Musical 2. I checked, it's not the same.
But it looks like it.
It looks like it. So we just found out yesterday that Bachelor Canada just announced that they will be doing Bachelor in Paradise Canadian edition. So
Sign me up.
Where are
Everyone
they
sign me
going?
up.
Are they going to PEI? Because like there's the ocean. Like I don't get it. My only issue is that the best part of Paradise is that you get to see people that you already know. And
Yeah.
like with this Canadian version of Bachelor in Paradise, it's literally going to be the most
Love Island.
random people that we don't know. And it's going to be like a Love Island kind of thing more than it is a Bachelor kind of thing.
I have really high hopes. I'm so excited. I can't wait for it.
I'm
It's
so
gonna be so fun.
Is Benoit single?
Yeah, he's single.
So
I'll
maybe
be
he'll
the
go
best
on the show.
contestant.
Maybe they'll bring back like Bachelor Canada people.
Yeah, like Kevin, and maybe he'll bring Astrid, like to do
They
like a
should
segment.
host. They should
Yeah, they should host. And Adina should be a contestant.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Dina, you need to film your video. It needs to be under 2 minutes.
Hi everyone, I'm Adina. I host a very popular podcast. Like I'm ready to take my love to Bachelor Canada.
This is your audition tape.
This is my audition tape. I love
I'll
it.
send it in.
We want to talk a little bit about the Women Tell All episode last night. Although there is not much to say, I think we had much higher hopes. We were a little bit let down. I think the best way to sum up the episode and the whole season, really, the fact that Britney had a sit down with Chris Harrison just goes to show that nothing happened this season. Because I understand that Britney's storyline about, you know, Anna starting this rumor that she was an escort was like a pretty big storyline. But ultimately, it wasn't that big of a storyline, and nobody knows who Britney is. And then the fact that she was given a one-on-one with Chris Harrison, it just goes to show that nothing happened this season. So
agree, but I feel like ABC and The Bachelor were getting like backlash for that whole situation.
Yeah.
About right. So I feel like
They
they needed
should.
to address exactly, but that's why. So they needed to address it. Like whether this season had a lot of drama or no drama, like they were gonna have to give Britney the hot seat to say that piece about like championing sex workers and how it shouldn't be embarrassing, but now how her name is tainted or whatever. Like regardless of what the season was, that was gonna have to be put in place. But I think in like the real
I think
icing,
ABC should have said sorry.
I fully agree.
Sorry for airing this and
Yeah.
ruining your whole entire life. Like in the
I
end,
agree.
like Anna said it.
At what point does like your life come before a TV show? Like the ethics here are majorly in question. The craziest part of this whole episode was easily the fact that there were all of these dates that they were showing as like never before seen dates. Like this is a dating show and we didn't even see the dates that they went on.
there was literally 4 of them, I think. There was 4
It was
dates
too much.
that they showed, and we had never seen them.
Yeah.
Like, who got the roses on those dates? Like, what happened?
never know.
That's just it. Like those dates were all the dates that like where we just saw nighttime portions
Yeah.
and we're like, so what happened before that? Right. So we saw who got the roses. We just didn't see what led to them getting the roses. You know, all season we've been saying like we don't see the relationships, and it's because we haven't seen any of the dates. We see Britney, who is being called a sex worker, and we see Victoria and her sty and her bra, and we see like it's just
But at the same time, like I was just thinking about this last night while I was watching all this footage that we didn't see. And I was like, to be quite honest, like if I was watching this as the date every single episode, I'd be like, these stupid dates, I hate them. Get this off my screen. It's just like when you see
That's
it,
true.
it's like we weren't shown it. It's
It
like,
just,
what the hell?
but it just makes me think that like the reason that we don't know the final 3 girls so well is because there were so many other moments. Like just those were just 4 of many instances or moments that he probably had with the girls that we didn't get to see. So it
Comes
just
back to the 5%, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So for me, the biggest thing from last night is that all season, and I'll bring it up because we haven't really talked about it, is that multiple girls have been wearing the same outfits and we've seen the same dress over and over again. I don't think it's because they're borrowing. I think girls just like happen to have the same dress. Like, first of all, night 1, like how did producers let 2 girls get out of the limo wearing the same dress? And then last night, 2 girls not only wore the same dress, they both had a hot seat. Both
True.
Abigail and Britney wore the exact same dress and they both sat next to Chris Harrison. Just
The producers are sleeping.
literally.
They're bored.
Yeah.
Or they're more preoccupied with the drama than giving a fuck about what dress these girls are wearing.
Yeah.
The most telling part about the whole episode was the fact that Katie got more backlash from the girls than Anna did. And I thought that was insane that they were all ganging up on Katie, who like, excuse me. And Anna was getting like grace and love. Like no one was like yelling at her and coming for her for like ruining someone's life.
I wonder if Kate, like, I don't want to say that Katie did things that were bad because I don't want to assume that about anybody, but I wonder if the producers like thought maybe they could make Katie the Bachelorette. And so they started giving her this good edit. Not that she had a bad edit to begin with, but you know, maybe she was being a little bit more conniving, going behind people's backs and telling Matt things than we were actually shown. And so maybe the girls saw things that we didn't see. And I think it was Chelsea who said, like, you know, you owed us like to have a conversation with us if you thought we were being mean to you before you just went to Matt. Now, I think that's easier said than done, because when there's a group of girls ganging up on you, it's not that easy to just have a conversation with them. But maybe the producers, like, you know, when they were editing it all back at the end, they were like, oh, Katie's going to be our Bachelorette. And so they made it seem like Katie was this hero. And now last night we see all the girls kind of going at her being like, you were the fire, the fuel of the fire. Yeah. And we're all just confused, but maybe that's part of the reason. I don't know. This just came to me, but it could be possible.
Actually, a good point. And it gets kind of tied into something else that I was thinking when I was watching last night is like, I felt that the way that they were interviewing Katie at the beginning, like showing back her flashback of her entire relationship with Matt, like it was very much her being set up to be the Bachelorette. Like that's the tone of how the conversation was going. And Reality Steve, a few weeks ago, we could talk about it now, he basically confirmed that Katie was being announced as the Bachelorette on Women Tell All. And then all of this backlash happened now with the Rachel Kirkconnell of it all and all of those allegations against Chris and everything that's happening. So they basically had to put the brakes on it and are obviously reevaluating how the seasons that are coming up are going to happen. But I feel like they've had all this footage, like nice footage cut together and presented for Katie to be like, okay, and she's the Bachelorette. But then when they had to repurpose it, like they didn't have any other content to use. So she still kind of got that edit, even though I don't actually think she's still going to be named as the Bachelorette. So I feel like it was just the season, just like an editing disaster.
Could we just talk about Victoria for a second? She was having a time, let me tell you. Like she, you know, there's real issues in this world, and she was talking about her sty and
her bra.
Like maybe you shouldn't have worn a bra like that then, or caused as much drama as you did. But she seemed to get really emotional at the end. It was kind of interesting.
I was shocked. I thought she was going to bring up the whole thing about how that guy that Matt was golfing with called her fat.
Oh yeah.
I thought that she was going to bring that up.
Maybe she did.
Teary-eyed. Maybe, and they cut it. It's possible.
Because he did mention, like, I only have nice things to say about you. Like, maybe that was in response to her saying, like, I heard you.
Maybe.
Yeah, very possible. Well, the only thing I have to say about Matt James is shave your beard.
That's like the meme Alana sent today. Like, that's the beard of a single man.
Yep. I don't think he's single. I think he's engaged. I don't know, but I do think he is with the person he will pick for us.
Really?
I'm so not on. I think
that. I think they're still together.
I agree.
So that was it for the Women Tell All. I'm really excited to start dissecting the promo that we got for next week and seeing what Matt James is wearing in each season, in each little segment, so I can try and figure out how I'm going to win this Bachelor bracket, because I am at the top, which is still very exciting for me. Sorry, guys.
Okay. I'm number 5.
Listen, I slept on it for 1 week. I decided, I was like, I don't care. I'm not updating my bracket. And guess what? Now I'm not winning. So.
Yeah, where are you, Alana? Like way down?
I'm 7th.
Oh, cool.
But like 7th because the 6 of us are ahead. The 6 of you are ahead of me. Like our group chat, for whatever fucking reason, is like leading the pack. But like
we just care about it. We just
all have the same strategy. And no, it's not colluding. If that's what you're gonna say,
we study. We do our homework.
The amount of times I've watched every promo from the season is sick. I know I know the segments in order. I'm like, got it. Yep, the hoop earring. Yep, the
dress. Sweater, we saw it.
Okay, that's the dress with the one with the shoulder there. Then there's the shoulder there. Like I know fucking everything. It's sick. It's sick.
It's just like sometimes I look at, like, I know Alana does this too. Like sometimes I look at what other people have chosen and I'm like, it was so clear that they were getting through. Like, how did you send them home? They had a one-on-one. Like,
some people don't watch.
Yeah. Some people, they don't care. They just like do what they think.
No, they watch the promo. Yeah. They don't overanalyze it. They don't pause screen and screenshot.
I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks. I think they're going to be really good. The fantasy suites and the finale always good. Always,
Yeah.
always good.
Always,
and
always.
it's what we wait for, and we're very excited about it. So
What would you say is your favorite Bachelor ending? Like your favorite like final 2 episodes?
Proposal?
Like, who
I
gave
have
it
two
no? Like
favorites.
who gave us like the best final 2 episodes? Like which Bachelor, Bachelorette?
Oof.
I'm gonna say mine. I think like the most memorable for me is just Ben Higgins saying "I love you" to Lauren Lane and
Yeah.
JoJo.
Mhm.
also Lauren and JoJo were an amazing top 2.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
top notch, top
Mhm.
2. I agree with that. Like I know Sean Lowe gave us one of the best proposals
Yes.
of all
Yes.
time. However, his final 2 like was kind of confusing. Like his other option was
Who was
that
it?
girl Lindsay. She's pretty random. Like
yeah.
and Catherine was so cute, but we didn't think she was gonna win. Like she was
Yeah.
like a sleeper a little bit. So I think in terms of like a top 2, I agree that
Most memorable, I would say,
Lane
is,
and JoJo.
yeah.
Liana, what are you
Think.
gonna say?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Liana's gonna say Jeff with 1 F is her favorite.
Okay, well, like I was up. You know,
I know.
how
I
feel
hated
about-
him.
No, like I want to marry. So
I
hard.
knew that they
I
were
want to
gonna
marry
break
you so
up.
hard and date the fuck out of you. Like,
Yeah.
are you joking? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, immature with a skateboard. Like that's what an immature guy would say at a proposal.
I loved him. I don't even remember top 2. I remember it was just like effing crazy Caitlyn season, like towards the end now with Kate, with
Yeah.
Sean and Nick. That was just like sweaty palms. Didn't know. I mean, we knew because of the spoiler of the Snapchat of it all when she Snapchatted Sean in her bed, but like
That's
that one I
true.
remember was crazy. I'm trying to think like older seasons.
That's true. Like these are like the seasons that like we really didn't know. Like we had
Like
no
when
idea.
Brooks self-eliminated and Desiree was left with Chris and she just settled for Chris. I mean, now they are married and have kids, but like that was effing crazy. Like the Molly and Melissa of it all with Jason was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there's a
Crazy.
lot of
Yeah, I
crazy
think that-
things.
That's it for me. The Molly and the Melissa and
That
then
was
the
the
Gavin DeGraw
first-
performing at their wedding. That's the
There's then
That was the
That's it.
first real finale, like real season that I watched was Molly, Melissa, and Jason Mesnick. Like that was the first. That's what got me hooked. I'm happy that was the first thing I ever saw.
it was the
'cause it
craziest.
I
And
need
then
to watch
also,
that
like
season.
when we were in Alana's basement, all of us watching Rachel Lindsay and Peter, and Peter was like, "I love you. I want to be with you. I just don't want to put a ring on your finger." And Rachel was like, "Then I don't want to be with you." It's like he's literally committing to you without like. I get it. She was there to find a husband, but like he just wasn't ready yet. She's not saying no.
I
That was
know.
crazy. Anyway,
You
there's
watched
so
that at
many.
my house.
And yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
in your
did.
basement.
Yeah. And more recently, obviously, we love Zach and Tasha, but I'm still, I
That's-
feel like there's so many OG,
Yeah.
like,
Crazy.
I just
moments.
like I just remember being in Sam's living room with JoJo and Lauren Lane.
I
when
think that
JoJo was announced as the Bachelor.
Yeah.
yeah.
Iconic moment.
Like
in
just
time.
I really loved that season.
Same.
I really
same.
loved it.
Good times with The Bachelor.
Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Rehashing the Podcast. This is always the highlight of our week. So we really appreciate all of you listening and tuning in. For more updates and breaking entertainment news, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Rehashing Podcast. If you have any questions for us, or if you have a suggestion of a story you want us to cover, feel free to slide into our DMs or send us an email, rehashingpodcast@gmail.com. Like always, we're available in audio format on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube as a video, hey, I hope you like the video format because it's my favorite to rewatch. But I think that's it for this week. So it was lovely hashing everything out with you guys. I love rehashing the top news stories with you, and we'll see you all, I guess, next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Did we all just do that? That's cringy.